on day 6 of Believable Lies, this Bible study on the Bible app that it's been good so far. It's not not been anything super. I don't know. I don't feel like necessarily mind blowing, maybe, but it's just solid. Helps us get into the fundamentals of uh, I guess just looking at the Bible, trying to examine the lens. As Richard talks about the right division. And so we got Nicole here. Richard's not with us, but we'll get into it here in a minute. I guess I can kind of start reading if I don't want people to lag too far behind. So just feel like some of the interesting things happening is that I think that we, as human beings, we're not meant to exist in isolation. So I think that there's a lot more value to being in community and being able to fellowship than we might actually acknowledge. And so, well, that might be like the feeling of like, well, nobody wants to hear me, help me. We don't want to work on these problems with other people, sometimes because it requires vulnerability. I think other people are desiring to help, especially if they see you trying to be proactive about making changes that would be beneficial to yourself as well as your life. How's it going, Robin? Welcome to the other 5 people here. I just wanted you guys to join so that we could get on with this. I do have an appointment at noon, so I don't have more than about 25 minutes here. So let's do this. But light number 6, this says God is dead. So pretty extreme, but I think that many times myself can feel like God might not be paying attention. And so it's like, do you hear me? I just want to have a direct line. I think we all do, but sometimes I think that it's like God's not dead. He's just requiring a little bit of patience, and he's asking us to be faithful even in the waiting, right? But it says, so line number 6 is God is dead. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, "This is not a celebration, but as a warning." He predicted that if society stopped believing in God, we would lose our foundation for meaning, morality, and truth. So I'm curious what you guys think about that, because, so for us Americans, we are the most wealthy nation on the planet. And I think that the more material wealth we have, the more we inadvertently kind of become our own gods. Or we think that we are. But I think that there's actually a higher requirement of stewardship as you move into possessing more. God requires more of you in how you maintain what he's given to you or entrusted to you. I think we also see this like losing our foundation for meaning. So what is your purpose if you don't know God? I mean, and I'm not saying that, the atheist or unbeliever or maybe somebody on the fence might not know, or they might have another idea of purpose and meaning. But I think that there's a lot of contemplation. I feel like with God at the helm, you have a lot more direction, clarity, a lot better insight. At least I feel that way, because I try to put myself over in the atheist or the unbeliever camp just to understand their perspective. But I don't necessarily know. I mean, for me, it just seems harder. It seems to be life has not a little, for me, a lot less meaning. But also morality and truth. Otherwise, what is morality and what is truth? And I think it's easy as you go down that path to maybe justify your own morality and your own truth. I mean, and we see that in society where, I mean, a woman can't be a man and vice versa. It's just, I mean, there's very rare circumstances where a child might be born with both genitalia, but you know, I think that through that, God might do something specifically because that individual's created uniquely in their own regard. But I don't know. What do you think? Like, I went down a lot of rabbit paths there, Nicole.
Yeah.
Or any of you viewers, I went off on a bunny path. But I think I look at that as like, why do we have the framework that we do for our society? You know, and there's a reason that I believe that it's based on um, underlying Christian biblical beliefs, and it's not because it's like easy and we want it to. I I guess I think that you want a well functioning society. You want longevity. You don't want people just killing and stealing and treating everything as extremely disposable. I think that you really need to dig in deeper to look at what really is morality, what is truth. Hi Ahmed, how are you? Welcome back. How you been? You've been gone for a minute. I'm expecting your assignment by the end of the day. Um, so it says we see this playing out today. When we remove God, we are left in a world where truth is relative and good is whatever we feel like. And I think that the lie is whatever feels good is good for us, and that could not be further from the truth. And you know that anytime that you want to feed a child, then they tell you what their favorite meal is, and it's McDonald's and chicken nuggets. And maybe candy. And we all know as adults where that leads us. Um, but the evidence suggests otherwise. The complexity of the universe, the precision of our planet's design, and the moral law written on our hearts all point to a creator. I think that there has to be intelligent design, even as you look at it from a scientific perspective. The more that we investigate, the more we find out, which means there's greater level of intelligence in the construction behind it. Um, I mean, I feel like it's absolutely fascinating to me, but you just had your iftar. What is that? Ramadan is killing me. Well, hopefully not. We want it to be life-giving, Ahmed. Um, says God is not dead. He is the source of life. He is the uncaused first cause who spoke the universe into motion. The lie of atheism offers a world without purpose. The truth of the gospel offers a world filled with meaning where you are known, loved, and created for a reason. I think, and that's the really hard part, is coming from unbelief of a God. You look at the purpose is different for an unbeliever. Not to say that it's without, I think that that's a lie, but I think that the unbeliever would still like to believe that their life has purpose. But I still think that it takes faith to believe that it does. Um, I had a buddy that, he really believed that human beings were kind of a waste of the planet. And I said, if you really believe that, then you would unalive yourself immediately. So through the conviction that that's absolutely not true. But I think that it's harder to see through maybe the lies and the underlying approach or conviction there. Sarah Dom says, I was experiment on. I am now a human dolphin hybrid. It's very interesting. Thank you for your contribution. But I don't think that even if you're experimented on, that doesn't change the fact that you are a human. So Ahmed says, iftar means the meal we have at dawn. Oh, okay. Well, cool. Is that like breakfast? The breaking
It's
of
the meal at the end of Ramadan.
the meal at the end of Ramadan?
I think so, the end of the fast.
Oh, okay. So the reflection point, let's see, is that look at the world around you today. Nature, people, order. How do you see the fingerprints of God on your daily life? So that's kind of my question to you guys is, where's the evidence? I feel like that's probably the strongest case in my mind of what we can actually comprehend in our own human brains. Do you have an opinion on that?
I think you can look around and see just the beauty and the intelligent design, but digging deeper, I mean, there's all kinds of studies and proof that this isn't something that could have happened randomly.
Well, I think, and for all the scientists too, it's like you look at the probability of life, right? I mean, look at probabilities if you like math, look at the probability of the way that life exists, the probability of, um, you know, multiplying life in a successful pattern on this hovering body of mass hurling through space. I think we're spinning at like, I don't know, 1,000 miles an hour or something in revolution. I could probably get on the internet and find that out, but Ahmed says it's a feast basically, so the moms spend about 5 hours preparing. It's a soup and traditional dish with some side dishes. You hate math. I used to hate math, but it made more sense when I put a $sign in front of it, Ahmed. And Ahmed says that we should try fasting. So I have done fast before, and Corey says 5 out of 4 people suck at math. That's great. That's us and then some, Corey. You love math, Daphne. Do you really? I actually do now. I don't like trying to force math, but I think math with a practical application makes a lot of sense. And that's where I really enjoy it. Like, career-wise, this actually makes sense. But let's see. What do you guys think about the fingerprints? Where's the evidence for you in God's creation? I feel like every time that I, like, the way that my life unfolds is just kind of like, honestly, like a miracle all in itself. Like, I mean, you go back to even the probability of you being you, and it's like, it's a crazy amount of, like, the way that we're replicated even is just like a crazy amount of variables to make you, Nicole, me, Kyle, everybody else really unique, even though we may have like some people that may look similar to us. We're just so dramatically different,
Yeah.
So your kids and your family. Yeah, well, and even you think about how your life is like that, Corey. So your kids, your family. I think when you watch like a movie like The Butterfly Effect, I was watching it with my girlfriend, and I think that kind of makes you realize how blessed you are. Because if you went back and you tried to change it in your own ability, how many times would it?
It's a creepy movie.
It's creepy when you look at how many other ways your life could unfold, and that's assuming that you're just being you. But I think that could take shape and form in so many different aspects that it's pretty mind-blowing. Ahmed says, I think the evidence is literally the human body. I mean, if we evolved, then why did we stop? Yeah, and that is actually an interesting thing when you look at evolution. If evolution was true, then, why do we still also have chimpanzees and gorillas and orangutans? Like, so that's a fascinating aspect too. So Psalms 19 says, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. Day unto day utters speech, and night unto night reveals knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line has gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them he has set a tabernacle for the sun. is interesting. Like when you think about life being able to exist here, but on no other planet that we know,
Mm-hmm.
the firmament does specifically show his handiwork, um, as well as everything else that we can tangibly experience, or even conceptually understand. So, Nicole, you want to read Romans?
Sure. Romans 1:19. Because what may be known of God is manifest in them, for God has shown it to them. For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes are clearly shown, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse.
Hmm. There's no excuse for what he created. Which means I think that also simultaneously it was all with intention. And it was not, none of it is a lie. But I think, if you examine it, like probably the worst things that have happened are because of, in my opinion, our free will. Which demonstrates that we do freely have the ability to choose poorly.
Sinful nature.
Yeah. Well, and Namit says he's going to pray right now. I'm praying for you. You'll converse. We're praying for your conversion too, Ahmed. But I guess we got one more in Psalms real quick. But um, Psalms 14 says, "The fool has said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none who does good." And I think that as we were just talking about that, part of the lie is the inability for good to exist. And I know that, you could look through the lens of, again, the unbeliever or somebody that maybe is undecided, and you can understand how they get there, right? There's a lot of suffering, there's a lot of horrible things. I mean, we're in the middle of minimum, one war at a time typically. I think simultaneously there's people dying, there's all the stuff in the Epstein files. And I think that when you arrive at this point that that divine justice does not happen right now. So, like, I think that that's the important part to remember, right? Is like, none of, as you say, the test is evaluated until the end. Not to say that some of it won't come to fruition right now, but I think that that's really like not to just have a delayed gratification, but an eternal mindset, maybe. So it's today is happening, but eternity is forever. And so I think that that might be the stronger point to look at, is that God's justice will happen. And so I don't think that the people that are involved in the Epstein files will escape judgment. I just don't.
There's so much after, so much more. I mean, I think I might have told you this last year, but the best analogy that I heard was a sermon that one of our pastors did where he brought an extension cord. And then he says, this plug, he's holding the plug, and he goes, this is your life on earth. And then he pulls out the extension, it's a long extension cord. He says, now imagine this extension cord goes down and around, blah, blah, goes around the earth, whatever. He says, that's your life after. Your life on earth. So it's like we spend so much time doing the wrong things in this inch and a half space when we've got miles,
the rest of eternity to go. That's so true. Yeah. I think that that's the challenge, right? Is being cognizant of eternity in our daily lives. So, just, and not that we all don't have, which is interesting. Myron Golden was talking about this, where he's like, if we could just address the desires inside of us, right? It's not the hook that catches the fish, right? It's the bait. And so it's the desire for the fish to eat whatever's on the hook, which is, looks tasty from the outside. And it's like we all know like where that's going to lead us, right? So I think that that's, I don't know. I feel like this is a pretty good, just a thought-provoking Bible study. But yeah, I know, Russia. America is, we're struggling. We are struggling. So it's part of the reason that I'm on here, is just because I feel like there are some of us, just like, I mean, you could examine all over the world, but I think that the internet is a beautiful place to have this dialogue, because it allows us to not exist in isolation. So what happens is that I think that we have this tendency to absorb what the media feeds us. I mean, I think we as Americans are guilty of that, you as Russians, whoever else all around the world. And I think that the evil, will pit us against each other and create enemies to maintain power. But if we understand truly, I think the vast majority of most people is like postured to want to do well. But the reality is, it's kind of taken this other opinion that, like, we're all mixed and matched in there. Like, I've been in the Middle East where I probably look like the enemy to them and they look like the enemy to me, but the reality was I was treated very well. And I have Middle Eastern friends. I mean, Ahmed, for instance, he's praying for me right now. But I'm praying for him too, and Carbon, I'm in Colorado in the United States. And yeah, Abraham is keeping an eye on this conversation, as well as the bear. But yeah, we are in the office. But no, Russia, you're fine, and you make a good point. And I would agree with you. I think that, right now, doesn't matter how you, I do think it matters how you vote. But I think the reality is we have some massive amounts of corruption at the top of our leadership. So the goal is to hopefully confront it. I think it's spiritual warfare, truthfully, and I think that the best way to confront it is with biblical truth, which is why Charlie Kirk was such an enemy to evil. And I mean, that's the only way you can get rid of it. And honestly, whoever had unalived him reignited that fire and that passion, which is, truthfully, I don't wish to see that happen to anybody, but he accomplished his mission and he reignited that fire in a good way. Carbon says that the whole process of the media, in a sense, is to divide the people and conquer those who are not willing to be divided. Exactly. And I think that the reality there is, Carbon, that that's where the media actually has a pretty large job to steward in the right way. And I think that we wouldn't have this opportunity to be on YouTube if they were doing their job. I mean, there's a lot of people on news now that are really, I would say, looking to rightly divide the news as well. And hey, look, we just want unbiased, but I think we all, naturally, we have our biases, but maybe it'd just be better to put them out there and know where somebody's perspective is coming from, so that you can choose, what you're actually, which well you're drinking from. And I appreciate that, Daphne. But guys, I gotta, we'll be praying for him. Everybody else on the channel, I got actually a huge list of prayers. So if anybody needs prayers, we could put that. You mind putting my email on the bottom if they want to email thekylewah@gmail.com. I'm just going to close out in prayer too. But Carbon says, just trying to get the idea here. Are you saying you support Charlie Kirk from a biblical Christian standpoint, or are you saying you support him or his politics? Just want to be clear. I think, yeah, so all of the above. I feel like Charlie, at least everything that I know about him, he was promoting a biblically sound foundation to stand on, both in life approach and politically. And that's obviously the direction that I lean without pulling any punches. Now, as a continuation of what I see in the underlyings of Turning Point, I have a lot of questions and concerns about his marriage, the succession plan that Turning Point USA has gone with, I think that there's a lot of concern there, to be honest. So actually, like the other day, I found out clients wanted to gift, donate